Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Justice Conversation, right here on Usala Radio, with your host, Brian O'Neill and Luis Gonzalez.
Welcome everybody to another edition of the Justice Conversation. I'm your host, Suave Gonzalez, with Dr. Brian O'Neill. He sent his love. He will be here next week. And Dr. August Turner, they will be here next week. So today, in the studio live, we have a good brother that's been in the system, been in the trenches, and is out here now in the community, making sure that other brothers get the same opportunities he's getting. His name is Solomon Frazier. You know, he's involved with the Hustlers Corner. We're gonna, we just gonna have a brother-to-brother conversation and what it takes after you come home, to survive in the system, in the workforce, and in corporate America. And weeks after weeks, we sit here and we tell you this show is just not only to discuss criminal justice issues, but it's also designed to highlight brothers like Solomon that's out there doing work day after day, ensuring that our youth get the message. Because that's what it's all about. It's about saving the babies from ending up in the places that we was at. So welcome to the show. I want you to know that Usala Media and a Justice Conversation appreciate you taking your time on this Saturday to be with us.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna get straight into it. When we read your story and see your videos, I can't help but notice, man, that you one of us. You one of us. At first I was like, okay, this guy's a politician. But the more videos we saw in the work that you're doing with the Hustlers Corner, we realized, oh my God, he's one of us. And it just feel good, right, to have you in the studio so you can at least share your life or some of your life with some of our listeners, man, and let them know that it's possible. Because a lot of them don't understand that it's possible. A lot of people don't understand that you could go to jail, right? Transform your life, come home, get a pardon, get an expungement, and become part of that corporate America that for years box out ex-offenders.
Hey, I want to thank you, brother Suave, for inviting me on this show, man, and giving me my first time being on radio, man. And I just want to just say, right, to everybody out there, right, I'm doing something I really got into in the last few years. You know what I mean? I really got into this the last few years because I had my pardon, right? And I just got the expungement, a few years back. But I really was like, you need to share that with people because people ain't going to believe you anyway. You know what I mean? People ain't going to believe that, man, because people always got something negative to put with something that's positive. And I just went on and embarked on it, right? And once I embarked on it and I stepped my foot in it, I just kept going. You know what I mean? And I try to give the message to the young people that's out there and to some of the old that's out there to think, I get a lot of responses back and a lot of people say, oh man, I'm too old now for a pardon. You ain't never too old for a pardon, man. You never too old. You too old when they put you in the ground. That's when you too old. Other than that, you're never too old. So I be dealing with it's a hard fight. It's an uphill battle. But I have helped. I got 4 people under my belt since I started, doing this stuff with pardons and expungements, and I'm meeting people, right? I'm meeting people, man. I mean, I just met Suave. I done met Brandon Flood. I done met a lot of people, man, that's the power behind prison reform. You know what I mean? I mean, this brother here, man, I talked to him, and he told me about a person I've been asking about that was in prison. And I'm just saying, man, that's what I'm doing now. I'm networking, right? I'm building a bond with others on something that's positive because I always built a bond with people, but it wasn't the right kind of bond. So today, man, I'm doing something positive, and look at me. Look at me. I'm on the radio. So you can't tell me what God can't do. Because, man, just what? Let's say 10 years ago, I couldn't see this. I wouldn't dare be on here talking about what I'm talking about now. But, man, my life has changed, man.
So let me ask you this. Can you tell the listeners and the people that's watching us on all our live feeds right now across the country, right? The power that a pardon had. What can you do? What can you do as an ex-felon when you get a complete pardon? You know, what other opportunities they open up with that pardon?
All right. Number one is, right, I don't know how y'all might feel about it, but when I used to get out released from jail and I used to try to get back in the mainstream and try to fill out apps or go online, whatever the process is, paper apps or whatever. And I get to that line where they say, have you ever been convicted of a crime or felony, which one it is? I would cringe because I'd be thinking, should I lie? Should I tell the truth? And then when I think about it, right, sometimes I just lie because of the simple fact is I know they ain't gonna pick me no way. Because once they run it through, they're gonna see I have charges and they ain't gonna call me anyway. And I lived my life like that for so long, right? And I just thought that I would never be able to get back in this thing called life like everybody else does. You know what I mean? I thought I could never get back in the mainstream. I just thought that I was going to be running the way I was going to be running for the rest of my life. You know, in and out and in. You know what I'm saying? Until they close the door forever and say, man, you done. You ain't coming back out. So I really, really had to really buckle down, man, and get my thinking together and say, you know what? What can I do so that won't be a problem no more? And some people that I met, a young lady, she told me, have you ever tried for a pardon? I looked at her like she was talking Spanish.
And
a pardon.
I do that very well, my people. I speak a lot of como está mi gente allá afuera.
That's the way it sounded when she said that. It sounded just like that. And I'm like, a pardon? I told her, in my neighborhood, right, and I was being for real, I know of no one that ever tried to get one, and I definitely ain't know nobody that had one. So basically, I was treading in some unfamiliar territory. You know what I mean? Straight up. Unfamiliar. They might as well took me over in China somewhere and let me loose. That's how the way it was when I had to get down with this pardon situation. And, hey, man, it's some people out there who will help you, though. They encourage me. They inspire me to go through with it.
But I just want you to tell the people, before you got the pardon,
Yes, sir.
what type of jobs were available to you?
Oh, man. Hey, man, I'm going to be honest, man. The jobs that were available to me were minimum wage, jobs where you got a person on your back from the time you come in to the time you leave, a guy that's watching the clock and watching you. And I just never lasted long on those jobs. I never lasted long.
And that's because, ladies and gentlemen out there, that's because when you are an ex-felon, right, we have to take what's available if we want to survive, if we want to work. There's not a lot of good employment out there for ex-offenders. I don't care if you got degrees or not, you know, because we always going to be ex-offenders when we apply for these jobs. And this is so important of having a complete pardon, where none of your past will show up, even if they look. So that means that you are qualified to apply for jobs that will pay you a sustainable living, where you could survive based on your work. Because if you have a job today and you can save 15% of that paycheck, right? You are not making a sustainable living. You living paycheck to paycheck. You know, and this is the importance of having a pardon and a complete expungement. Where it opens opportunities where otherwise will be closed. Them doors will be closed if you have a felon. And that's for a lot of us. That's not just you. That's the reality of having of being a returning citizen.
Right.
You know.
And
So your story is unique in the sense, man, that you come from one of our neighboring states.
yes, sir.
You come from Delaware.
Yes,
which
sir.
is probably 35 minutes away if you drive there on a hot Scott, right?
Right.
And people in PA should be taking notice. You know, I don't know how comfortable you feel, but I would like for you to share with the public, man, like what you went to prison, the times, so people can see, man, that even a felony charge could grant you a pardon, right? If you know how to go for it and if you know the right people.
Right.
And we never know when we're going to be inspired by someone. Like
Yes.
you said, somebody inspired you
Yes, sir.
to apply for that. Somebody believed in you before you believed in yourself that you could get it.
Yes, sir.
You know, so, and the next segment, man, we going on a commercial break in about a minute, right? But I just want people to understand this. Anything is possible. Anything is possible, bro. You was in prison. You came out. You didn't believe in this. I was in prison with a life sentence. I never believed in my wildest dream that I would be out of prison for a radio show, you know,
True.
just 18 months. 18 months out of prison, right? And for a lot of people that don't believe, miracles do happen. And why not? We deserve that. You deserve that pardon.
Thank you.
You know, because today you're doing wonderful work in the community.
Hey, man, I'm trying.
You know,
man.
and before we go on this commercial break, just tell the audience some of the people you working with your podcast, so people can understand that, you know, it's just not about you, but other people that deserve a chance. Who's some of the guys before we just go on a commercial break?
Right. I'm working with Hustler's Corner. I'm working with Hood News, Mitch Coleman. I'm working as an advocate with Brandon Flood, Secretary of Pardons. George Trudell. He is the Board of Commutation Specialist. And what I'm doing is I'm building an alliance with these people, right? Something that is new to me, but I know that if I want to have the connect, just like I had out there, a connect, I got to connect with this here. And I'm learning all I can learn, right, from these people, right? From Suave, right? I'm learning all I can learn, man, because guess what? I want to help somebody.
And with that, we're going on a commercial break. You listening to a Justice Conversation on Usala Radio.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text to emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Welcome back to a Justice Conversation. You're listening to Suave Gonzalez and Dr. Brian O'Neill in our studio live. We have brother Solomon Frazier. You know, he's a magnificent brother, an advocate. He's been in the system, and he's basically done something that a lot of people dream of doing, but probably don't think they could do it, and that's to get a complete expungement of his criminal history and a pardon, which today allow him to work for the city. You know, it has opened doors that he thought they couldn't be open. And we're not here to advocate for nobody else. We're here to highlight his story, because his story is unique, man. Like, when we see brothers like him, we need to fall behind him and support him. Because even though I'm free, I'm really not free. You know, I'm really not free. I'm out. I'm not behind prison walls, but I'm really not free. So, how it feel, bro? Not to have any connection to the system, not to have to report to parole, not to pay parole supervision fees, or take that urine that they want to take from you anytime they feel. How does it feel to be completely free from the criminal justice system?
Oh, man. Hey, man, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I feel just as good as somebody that just got one of the biggest birthday presents they ever got in their life. Because of the simple fact is that, right, I remember when I took my last probation fee money to get off of probation, I never forget that day. I never forget that day. I was running down to the probation office because I knew that I paid the money, I'm off of probation. And when I did that, and that lady signed my thing and said, I'm done, and I'm asking her, do I need a copy or something and all, whatever? And she told me no, and I'm trying to debate with her. No, I need something. She said, nah, you don't need nothing. And man, and I walked out of there free. I'm talking about free, man. No probation, no nothing. No fines. Everything was done with. And I just said, man, now, what you gonna do now? That part came up too, y'all. I ain't out the water yet. You know what I mean? Because at that time, I had to make up my mind. Which way do I want to go? Okay, you cleaned up, semi, just because I'm off paper. But I ain't know about the pardon thing yet. That didn't come up yet. But I'm off of paper. And I said to myself, what you gonna do, man? You know, and I gotta take a step back, y'all, right? And I just want y'all to know, right, when I was incarcerated, my last sentence was 4 years. And when I got that 4 years, right, I thought it was 34 years. Because during that time, I lost my mother, my brother, and my dad was suffering from cancer. And, man, they couldn't let me out fast enough. You know what I mean? They really couldn't. And I was doing all I could do while I was in there, right? And I was able to put in for what they called in Delaware a 4217, which is a modification of sentence. And I did that. And everybody that was in there with me, they laughed. Oh, man, they ain't going to give you that, blah, 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 you know. And I got it. And I came home. That was one miracle They let me know you got to try something that people don't do. Just because they don't do it don't mean you don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I took the incentive to say, listen, man, they say I can apply for this. I'm going to apply for it here. Here go my paperwork. And I came up for the, modification of sentence. And so I'm saying, like, a lot of people are sitting in jail right now, right? And they don't know. It's certain things they can do to either get a commutation, modification, something. It might be something that you can do, but you got to look. Because that didn't fall in my lap either. Guess what? Instead of me playing spades or talking on the phone, they said law library, right? I raised my hand. I said, I want to go. And that's how I did it. I went down there talking to people. Because they always have cats in there that's been in jail a little while, and they can. I just briefly told them what I was going on with me, and they said, well, here, man, read this. This might work for you. And I did it. And what I'm saying is, use your time wisely while you're in these places, man. Because you never know. You never know.
But let me go a little deeper than that.
Go.
What kind of jobs are you qualified to get today?
Oh, I can work.
Now that you have a complete pardon. Name me at least 5 jobs that if you want to, you could get into today.
Okay. I can get into SEPTA. I can work at the airport. I can also, right, I had one, but I let it expire, a TWIC card. I don't know if anybody know what a TWIC card is. Do you know?
No.
That's to work at any port. Any port in the United States. I can work on any port. All I got to do is get it renewed. But I got one. And that right there let me know about my record and let me know a little bit about if I just stay out of trouble, right? Anything could happen. And I'm saying, as of right now,
So
yeah,
your criminal record don't show up.
nah,
So if you want to be a correctional officer, you can.
I can be a correctional officer.
If you want to get into private investigative work, you can.
I can be anything I want to be.
If you want to go to law school and practice law,
I can.
You can.
Yes, sir.
Can you be a cop?
I'm going to say I don't want to be, but I probably could.
Okay. You see, I'm just making a point, man, that for a lot of people coming home after serving decades, this is what we hope for. Like,
That's right.
man, I wish I could get a job that could just, I'll be all right.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of us give up without trying.
Yes.
And even though you wasn't a lifer, you was serving your life in prison. In and out.
Out and in.
In and out. Out and in, like. But there came a point. What was the point that came in your life when you say, you know what? I'm done. I'm tired of this. I'm not coming back to prison. I'm changing my life. What was that, what brought you to that point?
Well, I'm going to say this. I had to really take a inventory. That's what I call it, an inventory on myself. Not on nobody else, not on what people done to me, and not none of that. I had to take an inventory on myself, right? And I looked at what I was doing, right? As far as every time I turn around, I'm back in for some type of offense dealing with narcotics, right? And so I knew that narcotics was something I don't need to be involved with no more, anymore. And once I eliminated narcotics out of my life, my life started going very, very good, man. The best. I'm gonna say like the boy said, I'm living my best life. You know what I mean? I'm doing some things, man, I never thought I could be doing. I can go places I never thought I could go. I can get a passport. You understand me? I can get a passport. And that right there is something that it's on my bucket list. It's on my bucket list. You know what I mean? To get a passport, just to have one. If I don't care if I go anywhere out the country, I want one. And I'm just saying, man, this thing, man, has opened so many doors, man. You know what I mean? I shared with Suave about what kind of things is like perks. I shared with you some perks, right? About getting a pardon, getting an expungement. You know, and I just tried it. That's all I did. I tried it. I said, hold up, let me see what this pardon really do, man. Here y'all go. Oh, I can get that? Oh, okay. And put it in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, man, blew my mind. I'm talking about, man, I'm going to let you know, man, this thing here, once you get this thing and you start seeing what it can do, it'll blow your mind, man.
See, people, this is about connecting people with people that's doing the work. You know, because this brother could easily say, you know what, I got a complete pardon. I'm going to disappear from the face of the earth. I'm going to get here and live my best life. I mean, you know, It crossed my mind sometimes, like, I just want to relax and don't be bothered with anything, but it's in my soul to try to do something, right? And you're doing the same thing.
Thank you, brother.
You know, and you have a better opportunity than a lot of us have, which is you ain't connected to the system no more. But tell me, why you do the work that you do so close with the brothers in the penitentiary, not only but in Pennsylvania, but in California, the federal system. You know, why, you know, when you have, you could just say, you know what, I'm done. I'm disappearing with mine. I did my time. I'm good. I got a pardon. I don't even want nobody to know I was in the system. You could disappear.
Yeah.
Why?
Hey, I'm gonna say this right, and this might be kind of hard for somebody to understand, but I hope you can understand. You know, God, right, had brought me to this point because it wasn't me. And you know what the thing is? God did it without my permission. He just said, man, listen, you're going to do this because of the simple fact is you ain't got no other way to go. Your back's up against the wall. You got most steps. You don't, listen, your steps is getting shorter because you got more steps behind you than you do in front of you. And I said, man, you know what? I wanted to try to help somebody else. And I said, you know what? That's why God gave me this pardon and this expungement. And he walked me, he pushed me. Because, man, guess what? A lot of parts of this was a little bit intimidating. To walk back into a state police barracks, right, with all these people. I'm looking at all these 6-foot state troopers and people I used to hate.
Hold that thought, because we want that. I want the complete story, but right now we got to go on a commercial break. You're listening to Solomon Frazier on A Justice Conversation on Uppsala Radio.
Sometimes the things we do or say make others
there are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to a Justice Conversation. You're listening to Suave Gonzalez with Dr. Brian O'Neill, and in our studio, a very special guest, Solomon Frazier. This brother, man, is amazing, doing wonderful work out there. He's an inspiration to a lot of people. He's helping people from the state of Delaware get complete pardons and expungements. You know, this is the type of work he's doing out there. He's living out in Philly, man. So we got him in the studio. It's a blessing for us to bring him in the studio today. Again, bro, I thank you. Before we went on a commercial break, you was talking about how you had to go into the state police barrack and take the fingerprints. Take the story from there.
Hey,
tell the audience how that process felt.
Hey, that process was a little bit intimidating to me because I remember that day, right? First and foremost, right, I had to call them and set up an appointment for the fingerprints. Okay, so when I'm ringing their phone and they say state police, barracks, troop, whatever it was, and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to come and get fingerprinted for a background, history. And they said, yeah, well, you want to make an appointment? And I said, yeah. So I went through that. That part was something. That was something new to me. I don't talk to police on phones.
Why was it something new to you?
Because I don't call police stations. I don't call police barracks. It's something that was, it just didn't feel right. But they told me something that's going to be good for you probably ain't going to feel right because you ain't never did it. You know what I mean? I never did it, so it ain't going to feel right. So I did that part. So my date came to go down to the state trooper barrack, and when I went and pulled into the lot of the state troopers, and I'm looking at all the cars, and I'm thinking about the time they chased me that time. State troopers chased me before too, y'all. Got away from them, but they ended up getting me. But anyway, yeah, they ended up getting me. But anyway, I walk back into, I get out the car. I'm really taking my time though. I'm pulling in the lot, I'm looking around. Here we go. We got to go handle this, man. We got to go through to this. And I get out and I walk in. And when I walk in, I felt like my heart was my heart was like beating a little bit, man. But the main thing I knew, and it's the only thing I held on to when I walked in there, they can't keep you. That was the only thing, man. I held on. That was it. That's all I can hold on to. Anything else, whether they was going to give it to me, whether they was going to tell me I got to come back, whatever, I said they're not going to be able to keep you. So go ahead and handle that. So I walks in, and the guy tells me, hold up, sit down, have a seat, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And then it's my turn. I get up and I go back there in the fingerprint room, which is not a good place for me.
So you're now in the fingerprint room. What are the feelings coming through you? Because when we go in fingerprint rooms,
right,
normally it's for other reasons.
Yeah.
So how was you feeling at that time when that state trooper grabbed your fingers?
And rolling it.
Yeah, what was that feeling like?
Hey, man, listen. That feeling was like, man, hey, listen, I'm telling you, the only thing I could hold on to was this is not going to hold you here after this. After they do these fingerprints, they're not going to tell you, I'm going to take you back to the holding cell. That was the only thing I held on to. Because guess what? Everything else was just saying, this ain't feeling good, man. This ain't feeling right. Man, oh, man. As a matter of fact, man, I might even change my mind. I mean, all kind of stuff came through. But the thing I did was, went through with it, and I let that guy rolled my fingers, did what he had to do. I gave me something to wipe my hands off or whatever. And then I remember him saying, we'll send it to you when they come back. And guess what? I felt as though it was a load lifted off of me. Because I didn't have I fought through that fear. Because it was fear. I don't care what nobody say. I don't think nobody wants to walk up in a place they used to lock you, where you have been before or in that position before. And it wasn't a good thing. So I went through that part of it, man, and I'm just going to tell you, man, you just got to do it, man. I know some people feel as though they're too old or they ain't worrying about no, certain job or whatever. They get disability. I'm listening to the excuses I be getting when I talk to brothers.
Right.
I get disability. You know what I mean? I don't want to mess my check up. I'm like, how that's going to mess your check up?
How?
I'm just listening to the excuses, though. That's all it is.
That's the problem that a lot of us have in the world today.
Right.
That we put these obstacles in our brains and in our head before they even happen. I can't do that. Or they're not going to pick me. Like, one thing I never said was I can't do that. That's one thing I never say, right? Because I remember being in prison.
Right.
And people telling me, you can't publish no books. Well, guess what? Today I got my own books published and I own my own publishing company. And I published 5 books from in prison.
Amen.
You can't be on the radio. You need a license. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, it's welcome. I'm your host of A Justice Conversation on Usala Media Radio, right? They told me, you never going to get out of jail. You serving life.
Amen.
On November 20th, 17, I was the only lifer that walked out of maximum security prison in the state. So all that I can't and it won't. To me that's a joke.
Yeah.
And you are a prime example of that. Plenty of people out there probably listening like, man, that's never gonna happen to me. You never know till you go and apply.
Amen.
Listen, man, we try everything else and it failed. We try everything else. We will go down the list of everything we tried in life and never succeeded. I tell my homies, right, y'all try selling drugs for 20, 30 years.
Right.
And ain't none of y'all rich. We still in the same place that you was 20 years ago. It's time to try something new.
Thank you, man.
Right? And we don't like changes. A lot of us don't like changes. We have this pattern and we don't interrupt that pattern. But sometime in able to be successful, you got to step out that comfortable box and say, you know what? I tried everything else. I'm going to try something new. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. I have nothing to lose.
Thank you.
And everything to gain.
Mm-hmm. And that's what happened for me, man. That's what happened. It boiled down because that's what the lady asked me. What are you going to lose? And that bell went off, man, in my head and said, man, she's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. What is it going to hurt? And I'm going to be honest. I don't want to sound like I'm the only one could do this. I don't want to be that person.
We not, by no means are we sitting here saying that you're the only one that could do this. But what I'm saying is, right, you one of the few they did it. Right? You one of the few they did it, and that is to be commendable. Because, again, a lot of us that's been through the system, we have this belief that once we've been in the system, we don't qualify for this. We don't qualify for that. You never know. You never know, man. Like, when they're going to say, you know what, man, here.
Right.
You never know.
Right.
Sometimes we give up on ourselves because we are still living with the trauma of incarceration.
Ration,
And
yes.
part of the trauma of being incarcerated is breaking you down, making you believe that you can't. That's part of that drama.
Yeah.
That trauma. You know, I can't, I won't. They're not gonna let me.
Right.
We always looking for the negative side of things.
That's true.
You know, that comes from being in prison and that environment. You know, but when you're around people that believe in themselves, you start picking yourself up. Man, if he do it, I can do it. And you can.
Yeah.
And you can. I see people out here, man. I know brothers in the penitentiary, they're way smarter. Way smarter than some of the people that run these 500 corporations and stuff. 500 Fortune corporations. I know people that can run them companies and gain back a profit.
Right.
I know people that can paint. I know people that can write. I know people that can sing.
Right.
You know, we just had it hard in life, and we end up in prison where they tell us, you're not going to be able to do none of this.
Right.
But yet, we in the studio with a brother today that's enjoying everything they said he couldn't do, he's doing. And more. And more. And when I tell you more, when he said he showed me some of the perks, I ain't going to say what it is, but I tell you what, it's like a dream come true for a lot of people. It is. It is. Because when you're a felon, you are restricted.
Yeah.
From certain things. Certain privileges.
You'll never get it again.
So to have them privileges back, such as voting rights, such as the right to bear arms, such as the right to live in housing and public housing if you choose to, such as the right applying for a college grant. You know, a lot of people don't know that if you have a drug conviction, it disqualifies you from getting certain grants for college. You know, if you have a drug conviction or robbery, certain jobs won't hire you.
Right. True that.
You know, so these are some of the perks, man, that you gain back when you have a full pardon and expungement.
Yes.
You know, and this is what I want the people to know. Like, right now, if you're a felon, you are restricted.
Right. And, you know, my thing is, right, a lot of people, from what I'm gathering, right, they're all right with being restricted. They're all right with it. You know what I mean? They feel as though, you know, hey, man, I'm good. I don't want to mess up my check. You know, I'm listening and I'm like, come on, mess up your check. Man, if anything, man, I'm trying to get you to invest in yourself. This is what, and listen, let me say this. This stuff here, this was an investment into me. This was like me putting something into myself to make me a better person. And I took the chance. And the thing is, I'm trying to let everybody out there know, take the chance. You know what I mean? Take the chance. And, you know, right now, right, like I said, right, you know, I work for SEPTA, man. And I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to be honest. 15 years ago, SEPTA would never even look at nothing I had to give or to apply. If I'd have tried to apply for SEPTA 15 years ago, pretty much I would have never applied. And number two is, if I did apply, they wouldn't have gave me a chance. They wouldn't have called me in for the assessment test. They wouldn't call me in for no interview. And I got all those things by just having this piece of paper here. Well, these two pieces of paper.
And we got to go on a commercial break, but before we do, let me say this, right? That even though it's illegal for employers, right, to run a background check on you before the interview, trust me, they do. And with that, we're going on a commercial break. You listening to A Justice Conversation on Usala Radio.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Welcome back to a Justice Conversation. You're listening to Suave Gonzalez and Dr. Brian O'Neill. We in the studio live with Solomon Frazier, a incredible human being that's been able to do what a lot of people want to do, obtain a complete pardon and expungement from the state of Delaware. Now, I see that you're involved with a project called the Pardon Me Project. Tell us a little bit about that. Okay. And where can our brothers and sisters in Wilmington go for this kind of help? Where can you be contacted if somebody wants your guidance to file the right paperwork and do it the right way to get a pardon?
Okay. This is going to be real easy, y'all. Anybody that needs a pardon in Delaware, it's a lady. Her name is Daynette Butler. I'm under her umbrella as far as we do events. We have done a few things where I go and I talk a little bit about my story. She tells a little bit about her story, right? Because this lady here was a prison guard in Delaware. She's a prison guard. She's retired now, and she had a son, right? And he OD'd off heroin, and she said she was going to make sure that she would try to help people because she's seen her son struggle. She said it broke her heart that she had to issue her son prison clothing. So this lady, man, here, man, listen, my heart goes out to her, man, because she still wants to help people. She ain't being bitter. She ain't taking it out on the streets. Like, y'all done gave my son this and blah, blah. I ain't helping, you know what I mean? And she is really actually doing the work out there. And if anybody wants to call her, I have a number for her. 302-397-9185. 302-397-9185. Call her, make an appointment, all right? And she does them. She told, matter of fact, I'm going to piggyback off of what she told me last time I talked to her. She said she could do them for any state. But I'm just going to say that's what she told me. But I'm going to say, right, this lady here, if you are just want to see, take a chance. And it's free. Free of charge. Am I saying the wrong thing?
No, but for anybody that want to contact you.
Oh, if they want to contact me, my number is 267-437-6783. Or you can email, hit me on my email, solomom, SOLOMOM, @gmail.com. Hit me. We can talk about it. And plus, I'm on Facebook, Solomon Frazier. Plus, if you, I'd like you to come on in to Hustler's Corner. I'm on there too. You can't miss me. And, man, I'm just saying, right, the other thing is I want to share with y'all, right, also, right, I even did some finding out, like, how can I lead somebody in Pennsylvania to this pardon process, right? And I went to a couple things, and I met Brandon Flood, right? He's a secretary of the Pardon Board. And when I got in to meet this guy, right, I learned a little bit about him before I went to his event that he had, right? Function. And he blew my mind because he been in jail, right? He been in prison for drugs and a pistol. And don't ask me how. He is the secretary of the Pardons Board. That's mind-blowing. That's mind-blowing. So right now, I feel it's the best time to go for this stuff as far as in Pennsylvania before Wolf gets out of office, because I was talking to Suave about that, and he kind of agreed with me on that, because when the new people come in, they might change that whole thing up. Because Brandon, one thing he said at the function, right, that he has changed the paperwork for pardons. He has made it a little bit easier. He has shortened up the papers as far as it used to be 18 or something. I think it's down to 15 now. And anything's a plus. So I'm saying, like, I'm trying to help people even go here. And this place, where they do them also, from what I understood at the event I went to, they do them at the Defenders Association of Philadelphia, 1441 Sanson Street, Philadelphia, PA, 19102. Email is www.philadefender.org. And from what I gathered, they said the same thing like Miss Butler. They said it's no money involved. Come in, they'll sit down and discuss whatever they need to discuss with you. And it's getting a foot up on getting your record straightened out, man. Because, man, I'm going to put it like this. I'm glad I did it, right? And because I'm like 60 years old, y'all. I'm 60 years old. And for me to be in the position I am at 60 years old, I'm in a pretty good position. I've been already made the quota as far as a pension. So for me, that's a plus. Just to know when I get to a certain age, I'm going to have something coming in every month. Might not be a whole lot, but it was better than what I was going to get 15 years ago. Because if I'd have tried to see what I was going to get back then, it probably would have said $0 or $10. You're going to get $10 a month because of the simple fact I ain't build nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to let everybody know, man, out there, man, give this thing a try, man. You know what I mean? Because, man, they told me this right here is the best thing that you could try out. Because guess what? I tried a lot of things out there in the street, a lot of things. I'm talking about as far as crime, drug trafficking. I did all that. I took a chance. I got away more times I got caught. But I'm just saying, I took a chance. Every time I went out and did a crime, I took a chance. So why now I won't take a chance on saving my life or getting my life in order? Go ahead, Suave.
But, you know, I'm honored to know you. You know, I'm honored to be a member of the Hustlers Corner. And I believe in sharing the information. And that's what you're doing here today. You're sharing information. I believe that we all can learn from each other.
Thank you.
You know, and what I learned from you today is that never give up, man. You never know where it's coming from. Never give up. Because have you wouldn't given up, if you would have gave up, what would you been at?
Oh my gosh. Hey.
You feel me?
Man,
if you would have give up,
I don't want to think about where I would be at.
You probably still would have been in prison or go back to prison because it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard for somebody to come home and sustain themselves. You know, and a lot of time, most of the people think that people just go back to jail because they want to go back to jail. No.
Nah.
No.
Nah.
People go back to jail because there's not enough doors open for them. You know, I work with social service today.
Right.
I see it. Guys coming home with no IDs. My brothers and sisters, if you don't have an ID, you can't even get into the medical clinic. You can't get your warfare assistance. You can't get nothing. If the police stop you in Philadelphia and you don't have an ID, you could be arrested. And if you're on parole, getting arrested is a parole violation, which automatically take you back to prison. You know, this is how important it is. This is why it's so important to highlight these issues. And for those that don't know, man, like, everybody that go back to prison is not because they want to go back to prison. It's because some of the people in our society don't want to give them a chance. I mean, we talk that stuff, man, but a lot of people, a lot of businesses don't want to give us a chance. And if they do, they only let one. They only let a token in. They only let one. They're not letting a bunch of ex-felons run their business. They're not doing that. And if you look a certain way in Center City, Philadelphia, they don't even want you in their business. If you look a certain way, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Right. True that.
You know, so what I'm saying, like, give it a try, man. Give it a try. Yo, I'm willing to try anything that's going to better my life.
Man.
I try prison. I try being in solitary confinement. I try selling drugs. I try a whole lot of stuff, man, that land me all in the wrong places.
That's right. And
you know, and it was only when I decided that I want something new that I start seeing different results in my life.
That's right, man.
But it's hard, man. It's hard. So I don't put the weight on the brothers and sisters that go back. They're surviving. They're surviving. And if anybody out there don't like how these brothers and sisters survive, then let's come together and let's create a job for them. You know, there's a lot of companies out there that hire ex-offenders.
Yes.
But they're not allowing them to make sustainable living.
Okay.
You know, because a lot of these temp agencies, what they do out there, they hire you for 60 days, right? After that probation period, they let you go so they won't have to pay you taxes or put you on their staff or salary or pay for medical insurance. Bring me the next one for 90 days.
Right.
You know, and that's hard for somebody coming home. I need a steady job. I don't need no part-time job. I need a steady job that I can pay my bills with. You know, and we're not looking for handouts. A lot of brothers want to work. A lot of sisters want to work. So we're looking for people to say, you know what, I'm going to take a chance. Because every time they give somebody a pardon, a complete pardon, and a sponsored record, that's taking a chance.
True that.
With the hope that this dude don't go out there and do some crazy stuff.
That's right.
You know, today's conversation, man, was dedicated to all the brothers out there, man, that's trying to do something good, man. All the brothers that's trying to find jobs, all the brothers and sisters that's out there struggling to represent those that are left behind. You know, and I want to say again, thank you to everybody on Facebook. Thank you to Usala Media Radio for allowing us to do these type of shows. Thank you to the sister out in Delaware. What's her name?
Danette Butler.
Dana Butler, you know, for being courageous and helping these brothers out there obtain these pardons. We see y'all next week. Again, y'all listening to Suave Gonzalez, live in the studio, Solomon Frazier. And if you heard it here first, then you know it's official. Our show is produced by Dalen and is sponsored by Westchester University. Dr. O'Neill, we love you. Get well. We want to see you back on this show soon. We see y'all next week.